Okay. Give me your name exactly as you would like to see it appear on the screen and spell it for me.
Ric Nitcavic, R-I-C-N-I-T-C-A-V-I-C.
And title?
Chairperson, Department of Communication Studies.
Okay. To start with, tell me about the department. It has evolved to something different. Speech, debate, but enough that...
We're much better, thank you.
Tell me about the department and what you are doing here, because it has come a long way.
Right. The department has definitely changed in the last 20 years. When I arrived here, we were with theater, speech pathology, and for the most part, the speech part was considered rhetoric, public address, what one characteristically thinks of in terms of the title speech. Well, today things are quite different. We're no longer linked with theater, we're no longer linked with speech pathology. In fact, we're in our own college with the departments of telecommunication, journalism, and the Center for Information and Communication Sciences. I think the most attractive changes that have occurred in the last few years have been in the area of organizational communication. Today, organizational communication consultants attract a pretty hefty consulting fee, hence more and more people have become interested in organizational communication. And in the last couple of years, we developed a major just for organizational communication, and it's attracted quite a few students away from our more traditional programs. In organizational communication, students study such things as conflict management, leadership, organizational change, consulting issues, those types of aspects that are pretty much prized by organizations today. Additionally, other areas that have grown in a great deal of importance are somewhat related to organizational communication. Several of our faculty are experts in the area of health communication, and they look at such things as burnout, social support, dealing with patients with particular chronic illnesses. There are a wide variety of health communication issues we look at. Among the faculty members who have most recently joined us, we have interests in the area of organizational culture. What makes a place a good place to work or a not so good place to work. Also, we have people who are very much concerned with the issue of innovation. Our organizational faculty has been doing a great amount of outreach. For instance, Dr. Marcy Meyer recently went to Mexico to give a presentation to a very macho culture on the role of women in organizations, and in fact received a standing ovation. This summer, Drs. Ellis and Meyer are planning to travel to Poland to work with developing Polish business women. So we have several outreaches that go beyond our traditional programs, but not overlooking our traditional programs. We still train speech and theater teaching majors, and we have a rather, still continue to have a rather successful individual events competition program and debate program, both of which closed in the top 20 schools in their division last year.
I know. I came over and helped judge several of those for the last couple of times, especially when you had, was it a regional or a national tournament that was here like 2 years ago?
2 years ago, we held the national tournament for the National Forensics Association and had over 1,000 contestants come to Muncie and compete in that final event of the year.
I judged 2 rounds of Lincoln Douglas, and I did on-the-job training. It didn't remind me of things that I had done as an undergraduate, so it was a little, it was fascinating to me,
right.
And I was in awe of the students that are involved in the program. You really have a distinguished crew, a cast of characters, I guess I could say, for students here in this program. They're really very good.
Well, excellent students. If you were to go out in the hall, you'll see a trophy case that's packed. This particular room was so packed with trophies so far this year that we finally had to ask the teams to move them out so we could actually hold seminars in this room.
So when a student comes to you and says, Dr. Nitcavic, I think I'd like to enroll in communication studies, Can you take all that you offer and put it into a small package for me and tell me, what is it you tell the student? What's the opportunity out there? What's the vision? Where can they go with this?
One of the parts of a communication studies major that I think overwhelms a lot of students is that they can do so much. Basically, people who go through a communication studies program are trained to go into almost any type of situation in which you're dealing with the public, or oral communication is playing a major role, or even written communication, because our students study as part of our core such things as communication theory. May not be an exciting term to most students, but it's a good idea to have an understanding of what underlies all communication. But these students also study argumentation and reasoning, interpersonal communication, persuasion, and these courses provide them with a variety of skills that are marketable in almost any type of endeavor one may want to go into. I pass students a sheet with about 50 different occupations that are typical of people who graduate with a communications degree. But the range is incredible. We've had people go into traditional areas like sales, but also people go into different types of management positions, supervisory positions, human resource and development positions, some that often you associate with business, but a student who is aware of the communication principles and then picks up a business minor or some additional business courses is well suited to go into a variety of different occupations.
And where's Jeremy? I know he needs so this too. No, we're not applauding for the kid. Okay, guys. I like us better in a circle. We did this in Orange County. Yeah, they're going to Showstoppers. Yes. I'm going to go too. It's a great trip. It is. It's awesome. In March. Yeah. Okay, guys. What did we do last time? What did we talk about? Our levels of communication, right? Anybody reel those off to me? First, we had talked about research and the discipline being all across those areas, all at once, in lots of different contexts, in this mass media, health, NCA, the National Communication Association, and we went into those levels and all the research that's being done in regional associations across the country. And the discipline grows in 3 different ways. And one is going to be extension, E-N-S-I-O-N. And what that means is the discipline grows through the extension of knowledge. Every single research article, okay, extending knowledge is what you want to jot down right there, extending knowledge. Every single research article in every single journal, academic journal that we have, personal, interpersonal, group, organizational, society, mass media, lots of all the different ways. Every single piece, every single journal article adds then to that growth, okay? It also happens another way, and this would be the second point under growth of the discipline, is intention, I-N-T-E-N-S-I-O-N, intention. Not like my intent is to eat 12 candy bars today, but intention, I-N-T-E-N-S-I-O-N. And that is precise knowledge about a particular subject. Okay, so if we are going to see a lot of articles about one particular subject, okay, and let's take self-disclosure. We're going to deal, for example, one piece might be dealing with gender, self-disclosure of gender, might be another one might be age, self-disclosure of age. So we are getting very, very precise information about one particular area. Does that make sense with me? Okay, great. The third one under growth of the discipline is revolution. Okay, revolution. What revolution means is that old theories die and are replaced by new ones through all the research. And that's how we know what we know. That's how our knowledge is to be in vogue, and through research and academic writing that changed, kind of threw away an old theory and a new one came about. There was what's that? Okay, good. Classical management is a good one. A theory that was very, very important in the early 1900s in organizational research. We've kind of refined that through mass media. Do you remember the in 360 talking about mass media? Yeah. Good. Can you explain that?
I think it's basically when you take in and you believe everything that you see, and then that's supposedly supposed to be the way that you see life, and then
Yes.
we did that.
All right. When mass media, when TV and radio first started, 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the theories were like hypodermic needle. That, oh my gosh, we were going to be so influenced by the media that we would just, you know.
In my head.
Didn't you always want to be tall? Yeah.
Okay, Al, we're rolling.
Give me your name and spell it for me.
Okay, my name is Christopher Flynn. That's CHRISTOPHERFLYNN.
And where are you from?
I am from LaPorte, Indiana.
And you're a senior?
I am.
And major in communication studies?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Tell me, what brought you to Ball State?
I originally came to Ball State to be a teacher. I wanted to teach speech, and the more I got into the program, the more I decided that teaching really wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into the discipline. I wanted to be able to take different pieces of knowledge that I had acquired in wanting to become a teacher and be able to apply it into a business setting.
And the communication studies program here allowed you to do that?
Yes, it did.
Tell me about it. What's so special about it?
I got a lot deeper into the discipline than what I thought I was going to do. I originally thought it was pretty much just going to be, public speaking, giving speeches and stuff like that. And then once I got into it more, I found out that there are, different theories, different types of communication. There's persuasion. There's, just so many different types, and there's so many different, what's the word I'm looking for? Genres that are associated with it, and there's so many applications to practical life. There's so many different ways of taking, something basic like giving a presentation. Well, that in the business world, if you don't know what it is that you're doing, is a very big market, and I found that out. I found that out the hard way.
What do you mean the hard way?
Well, the company that I interned with this summer, Anthem, it turned out that a lot of the people that I worked with, a lot of people work not so much communications professionals, but a lot of them were PR professionals, were journalism professionals. And putting together presentations in the early stages with them was kind of like pulling hair, because they really, it was just like, no, you don't have to make it that difficult. You can just do this, this, and this, or blah, And it kind of shocked them, the fact that I knew what I was doing, and the fact that I could come in and take, information that I didn't know that much about, and that I could present it in a light that, people that weren't familiar with the healthcare organization or familiar with the healthcare industry could understand. I could take bits of information and I could take data and give it to large groups of people that they could understand.
It seems what you're saying is that the program that you've had for the 4 years has allowed you to gain a tremendous amount of professional insight and capability. Tell me about that, what the program has done for you.
The program has given me ways of taking information and presenting to people in a way that they can understand, a way that they can maybe connect with. It's given me different tools as far as taking something or some piece of information that may not be familiar and being able to relate it to them in some way, being able to build maybe a link between me or the communicator and the audience, and giving them some kind of common ground, some kind of way in, whether it's through personality, my speaking style, way of presenting the information. I'm not exactly sure I can put my finger on it, but I know that there's some kind of ground that I can reach with them, a lot more so than, say, somebody that's a businessman and only knows a certain type of business, and they only know how to crunch numbers, or they only know how to put together proposals, or they only know how to do this, or they only know how to do that. They don't know how to take what it is that they're doing and be able to give to other people that may not know what they're doing in a way that they can understand.
So this has allowed you to graduate from Ball State, which you will at the end of spring term.
Yes, it will.
And have a career. Tell me about that.
Well, right now my career is, hopefully, if all goes well, I will be working with Anthem. I will be working for their corporate headquarters. I'll be working with their communications and public relations department, and we do all of the internal and external media, as well as a lot of the press releases, any media statements, any kind of information that goes to the public comes from the team that I will be working for.
So the program here has really prepared you well.
The program here has given me a lot on it. I mean, there is everything that I encountered this summer during my internship, I could relate back to what it is that I've done here. And it was actually pretty incredible. I never thought that I would be able to, actually go down to, a big company like that and be able to apply what it is that I've learned into, just so many different things, so many different classes that I've had. I'd be like, oh, I totally remember doing something like that, and I could relate it. I could, put it into a presentation. I could put it into, just speaking with a reporter one-on-one. Just bringing myself across as somebody that's confident, bringing myself across as somebody that's knowledgeable on the subject when, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I should have been. But I mean, I really gave them, my best, and I got a lot of that from here.
Okay.
I have to tell you that we ran into one of those Muncie potholes. Yeah. I won't put this on the tape, but it was so wide and so deep.
We are now? We are. Marcy, give me your name and spell it for me so we make sure when we put it on it's spelled correct.
Sure thing. It's Marcy Meyer, Marcy Meyer.
And your title?
I'm an assistant professor of communication.
Tell me about what it is you teach.
I teach a number of courses in the organizational communication and research methods at both the undergraduate and the graduate levels.
What is so special about the Ball State program of communication studies?
Well, one of the things that's really fun about this program, a lot of the courses that I teach in organizational communication, for example, a couple of them leadership and communication, and organizational communication I have a seminar at the graduate level. And both of those courses, we do some things that are really fun in there, and that we learn not only about theories that have to do with helping students understand organizational life, but also helping them apply those theories so that they can make greater sense of their own experience in organizations.
So it has changed so much from the typical speech debate,
oh, yes.
And learn how to put your P's and Q's together and speak coherently.
Absolutely, we're a lot more than just speech communication. Some people think of speech communication and think of public speaking, and certainly being an effective communicator is part of what we're all about, but that's not everything. We really teach a lot more in terms of gaining theoretical knowledge about organizational communication, about interpersonal communication, and then allowing students to take that information, that theory, and apply it to real-world contexts.
So then you help them apply it in classroom situations and internship situations. How do they take this out and do that application?
Well, really in both of those ways. For example, in my classes, I always give students an opportunity to do some form of case study where they can take the theories that they're applying in class and then go out maybe somewhere that they work or somewhere where they have worked in the past and begin to understand maybe some problematic issues that they had in those contexts, start to make sense of them, start to reframe them through the things that we've learned in class. Usually with an emphasis on how a particular problem could have been better dealt with from a manager, superior, supervisor, that type of thing. And encouraging students to kind of take action for themselves and make the workplace a better place to be.
A student is out there, a high school student, a parent is watching this, and they're saying, why would I want to send my son or daughter to Ball State for that kind of program? Can you tell us why what skills they're going to get here? What's different? What's special?
Well, I notice two things, first off, that make Ball State different from other universities where I have attended as a student, where I've worked as an instructor or a graduate student or professor. One thing has to do with the relationships here that we build between students and faculty. Our classes are exceptionally small. A majority of the classes that I teach are under 30 people in one class. And we really work to develop relationships between students and faculty. I have a number of students who will come and just drop by my office to have a cup of tea and chat. And that type of thing is not something that you can get at a larger research-oriented university. So that would be one thing. A second reason is I think that a lot of the the information that you learn at Ball State is not just facts that you memorize, that you spit back on an exam, but in our program, the information that you learn is something that you can apply into real-world skills that you can take when you leave Ball State, hopefully making you more marketable in the process, giving you an opportunity to hone your interviewing skills, to develop cover letters and resumes, and really think about the job search process, what jobs are best for you. What types of skills will you have in critical thinking, in presenting yourself, in asking hard questions about organizational issues that will make you more marketable when you get out of the program.